Let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed the more you chase something, the more it slips away? The more you cling to someone, the faster they pull back. The harder you beg for respect, the less of it you get. We've all felt it. That sting of being ignored. That hollow emptiness when you're desperate for validation. That moment when you realize you've handed someone else the keys to your worth. But here's the paradox of life. The man who needs nothing ends up with everything. Women feel it. They sense it deep inside. They're not drawn to the man who clings, who pleads, who bends his backbone for approval. They're drawn to the man who can walk away. They're drawn to the man who is whole within himself. Men respect it too. You can see it in a room. When a man walks in who doesn't need to prove, doesn't need to boast, doesn't need to beg, he holds the quiet kind of power that makes everyone lean forward, wondering, what does he know that we don't?
And life itself responds to it. Because when you no longer grasp, you no longer repel. When you no longer need, you finally receive. The Stoics understood this thousands of years ago. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, different men, different times, different worlds. One was an emperor, one a wealthy statesman, one a slave. But they all discovered the same secret. Power isn't found in what you control outside. It's found in what you master inside. And the man who needs nothing, the man who is enough as he is, holds all the power. So today I want you to journey with me into this truth, not as theory, not as abstract philosophy, but as a way of living that will change your relationships, your confidence, your peace, and your future. Because when you walk out of here, I want you to feel it in your bones. The world bows to the man who bows to nothing. And life itself responds to it. Because when you no longer grasp, you no longer repel. When you no longer need, you finally receive. The Stoics understood this thousands of years ago. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, different men, different times, different worlds. One was an emperor, one a wealthy statesman, one a slave. But they all discovered the same secret. Power isn't found in what you control outside. It's found in what you master inside. And the man who needs nothing, the man who is enough as he is, holds all the power. So today, I want you to journey with me into this truth, not as theory, not as abstract philosophy, but as a way of living that will change your relationships, your confidence, your peace, and your future. Because when you walk out of here, I want you to feel it in your bones. The world bows to the man who bows to nothing. Think of the man who clings, the man who can't stop calling, the man who bends his entire life just to keep someone from leaving. Does that inspire desire? No, it suffocates it. Because here's the hidden truth. Women are not drawn to the man who clings. They're drawn to the man who can let go. And not because letting go is cold, but because letting go is freedom. And freedom is magnetic. The man who doesn't beg shines. The man who doesn't chase attracts. The man who needs nothing becomes irresistible. But let's step outside relationships for a moment. Think about leadership. In a crisis, when everyone is panicking, who do people follow? not the man begging for reassurance, not the man who collapses when plans change. They follow the one who stands calm, steady, grounded, because his stability doesn't come from circumstances, it comes from within. In business, who commands the deal? The desperate seller begging for approval, or the one who knows his worth, who can walk away without flinching? Freedom is power. Need is weakness. And the cruel irony is this: most men spend their lives searching for power, through wealth, through status, through control, but they never discover that the greatest power is found in letting go of needing it.
The Stoics gave us a roadmap for this freedom. Seneca wrote, "If you would make a man happy, do not add to his riches, but take away from his desires." Read that again. Happiness doesn't come from piling more on your plate. It comes from being satisfied with less. Not more money, fewer cravings. Not more approval, fewer insecurities. Not more control, fewer illusions. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of Rome, had everything a man could want: armies, wealth, power. And yet, in his private journal, he reminded himself daily, very little is needed for a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. Imagine that, the most powerful man on earth telling himself, happiness is not in the palace, it's in the mind. Then there's Epictetus. He was born a slave, owned, controlled, humiliated, and yet he discovered freedom long before most emperors. Why? Because he understood this: no man is free who is not master of himself. Think about the contrast. One man owns empires, another owns nothing, but both knew the same truth. Power isn't in possessions. Power isn't in approval. Power isn't in control. Power is in the mind. Power is in needing nothing. This is why Stoicism still matters, because it gives us a radical shift in perspective. Don't chase what you cannot control. Don't depend on what is fragile. Don't hand your worth to what can be taken away. True strength is this: if you can lose everything and still stand, still breathe, still smile, then you are untouchable. And the man who is untouchable holds all the power. Now you may be thinking, all right, I get it. Needing is weakness. Needing nothing is power. But how do I actually live this? That's where Stoic practice comes in. It begins with a simple question: what do I truly control? The Stoics broke life into two categories. What is up to me, my thoughts, my actions, my choices, my effort? What is not up to me? Other people, outcomes, circumstances, the past, the future. Stress, weakness, and desperation all come from confusing the two. But when you separate them, you gain power. Practical steps. Morning reflection. Each morning, remind yourself, today I may face rejection, chaos, loss, but these are not mine to control. What is mine? My response. Practice voluntary discomfort. Seneca would wear rough clothes and eat cheap food once a month, asking, is this what I feared? Do this. Fast. Take a cold shower. Live with less. And you'll realize how little you actually need. Detach daily. Whatever you love, remind yourself it is on loan. The Stoics didn't say this to be cold, but to be free. Love deeply, but don't cling, because the tighter you hold, the faster it breaks. Day by day, you'll feel it, that shift, that calm, that freedom.
You'll stop needing texts to validate you. You'll stop needing wealth to define you. You'll stop needing outcomes to give you peace. And the less you need, the more powerful you become.
Here's the ultimate test. Can you walk away from the deal that doesn't respect your value, from the relationship that drains your soul, from the chaos that destroys your peace? Most men can't. They stay because they're afraid of loss, of emptiness, of being alone. But the Stoic man, the man who needs nothing, knows this. You lose nothing by walking away from what was never yours to begin with. And when you do walk away, something amazing happens. Respect follows you. Opportunities follow you. People follow you. Because the man who doesn't need to stay becomes the man everyone wants to stay with.
So here's the truth. Power isn't in chasing. Power isn't in needing. Power isn't in begging. Power is in freedom. Power is in mastery. Power is in being whole without needing the world to fill you. The man who needs nothing cannot be broken. The man who needs nothing attracts everything. The man who needs nothing holds all the power. So when you wake up tomorrow, remind yourself, I need nothing outside myself to be complete. Because completeness is already within you. Because power is already within you. Because freedom begins when need ends. And the world is waiting for that man to rise. The man who needs nothing holds all the power.